So class 12 portion also can be divided into three parts: physical, organic, inorganic. Under physical, we have chemical kinetics, solid state, electrochemistry, solutions and colligative properties. Fifth one is solid state. Sorry, fifth one is surface chemistry. These are the five chapters will be discussed under physical chemistry. Under organic chemistry, we have alloalkanes and alloarenes, alcohols, phenols, and ethers. Next, we have aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids. Next, nitrogen compounds or nitrogen containing compounds. Next, we have biomolecules. Next chapter, we have polymers. Next, we have chemistry in everyday life. Next, inorganic chemistry, when you observe P block elements, D and F block elements, coordination compounds, next is metallurgy. These are the total 16 chapters we have all together: physical, organic, inorganic. All together we have 16 chapters. Hope it is clear, children. So now, based on importance as well as based on difficulty level, we chosen few chapters to discuss, especially for the next 1 month, or it depends. Okay, till next 1 month we will be discussing. We have actually picked out 3 chapters: electrochemistry from physical, organic alloalkanes, alloarenes, and alcohols, phenols, and ethers. Till central officer ad hoc schedule comes, till then we will be discussing these chapters. Hope it is clear, children. So today onwards we will be starting our classes with the electrochemistry. We will be starting. Hope you have copied it, everyone. Electrochemistry, most important chapter from the physical part. Electrochemistry is most important chapter, children. It deals with what exactly electrochemistry deals with. See, using of electrical energy, how electrical energy can be used or how electrical energy can be produced, right? So that will be discussed under electrochemistry. It deals with the use of electrical energy. It deals with the use of electrical energy for the dissociation of chemical compounds. For the dissociation of chemical compounds. This is well known and familiar to you. This phenomenon is called as electrolysis. This phenomenon is called as electrolysis. And second one, we have use of chemical energy. How do we use chemical energy? Use of chemical energy for the production of electrical energy. For the production of electrical energy, how do we use the chemical energy for the production of electrical energy? This topic is called electrochemical cells. This topic is called electrochemical cells. And another one we have, that is for commercial power generating cells. Commercial power generating cells, which are like, secondary cells or batteries, you can say, and as well as fuel cells. We will be discussing about fuel cells also. That means combustion of the fuel, that combustion energy which is produced by the combustion of the fuel to generate the electrical energy. So majorly electrochemistry deals with use of electrical energy for the dissociation of the chemical compounds. That topic is called electrolysis. Second topic is use of chemical energy for the production of electrical energy. This is the second topic, electrochemical cells. Third topic is of cells, primary, secondary cells as well as fuel cells. That is the second topic, batteries and cells. Overall, three subtopics are there in this electrochemistry: electrolysis, electrochemical cells, batteries and fuel cells. This is what we are going to talk about in electrochemistry chapter. Hope it is clear. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great. So under that, shall I move on the slide? Hope you have copied it.
1 second, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Great. Under the first one, various terms we are going to talk about it is electrical conductor. What is the electrical conductor? What is an electrical conductor? Substance which allows the electric current to pass through it. Substance which allows the electric current to pass through it. That substance is called electrical conductor. These electrical conductors are of two types. One is electronic conductor. Another one is electrolytic conductor. Of course, electrolytic conductors are very important for us in this chapter. In chemistry, we will talk more about electrolytic than electronic, right? So we have two types of conductors, electronic as well as electrolytic conductor. Actually, what is electronic conductor? Conducts electricity. Conducts electricity by the flow of electrons. By the flow of electrons, if it conducts electricity, then it is called electronic conductor. This side, electrolytic conductor, if you take it, conducts electricity by the flow or movement of ions. By the movement of ions. Ions will give the electric current, that is electrolytic conductor. If electrons gives the electric current, that is nothing but electronic conductor. In this case, there is no transfer of matter. No transfer of matter takes place. But in this case, transfer of matter takes place. That you will understand in electrochemical cells. Transfer of matter takes place. And the most important point here, it decreases with increase in temperature. If temperature increases, electronic conductor conductance decreases. But whereas electrolytic conductor conductance increases with increase in temperature. It increases with increase in temperature. See, if you consider an electrolytic conductor, as temperature increases, it will give more number of ions. If it gives more number of ions, more will be the mobility, or more will be the movement, and more will be the conductance can be generated. That's why it increases with increasing temperature. But when we talk about electronic conductor, just if you increase the temperature, what will happen there? So that particular electronic conductor in which are molecules are packed, so those molecules starts to vibrate. In electronic conductor, if you increase the temperature, molecules start to vibrate. When molecules start to vibrate, they can obstruct the flow of electrons. When they obstruct the flow of electrons, conductance decreases. That's why its conductance decreases with increase in temperature. That is a major point of difference between electronic and electrolytic. Best example you can take it: metals, alloys, graphite. All these are examples of electronic. But generally, salts are examples of electrolytic conductors. But solid salts are there. Solid salts such as cadmium sulfide and copper sulfide. Cadmium sulfide and copper sulfide, if you consider, these salts, they can exhibit electronic conductance. They can exhibit electronic conduction. It is due to crystal defect. There is a defect in the crystal. Because of the defect in the crystal, it can exhibit electronic conductance. CDS and CUS, though they are actually salts. But when we talk about electrolytic conductance examples, if you take it, liquids of molten salts, aqueous solution of salts, acids, especially strong acid, we will take it as a good electrolyte. HCl, HNO3, H2SO4, bases if you consider it, NaOH, KOH. So for sake of convenience, electronic conductors simply called as metallic conductors, because conduction which is taking place in the metals is because of the flow of electrons. That's why metallic conductors are also said to be electronic conductors. Whereas when we talk about electrolytic conductors which are also said to be ionic conductors, because conduction is taking place due to the movement of ions. Due to the movement of ions, it is taking place. That's why it is said to be ionic conductors. But what are the major factors which actually influences both the conductions, both electronic as well as electrolytic conduction, right? If I talk about electronic conduction, children, electronic conduction depends on first thing, nature and structure of the metal. Nature and structure of the metal. Second one, we have number of valence electrons per atom. If number of valence electrons per atom increases, conduction also increases. More the number of valence electrons, more will be the moment of flow of electrons and more will be the conductance. And third factor, which is familiar view, just now we have discussed, that is nothing but temperature. Temperature increases, conductance decreases, especially in case of electronic conduction, right? Similarly, when we talk about electrolytic conductance or electrolytic conduction, if I take it, that electrolytic conduction depends on electrolytic conduction. If I consider it, It depends on what are the factors which can influence the electrolytic conduction. First one is nature of the electrolyte. Of course, we will talk about this. Nature of the electrolyte I'll discuss. Means electrolyte might be strong electrolyte or a weak electrolyte. Strong electrolyte can give the 100% conduction. Weak electrolyte can give the less than 100% conduction. And second one we have size of the ions produced. Size of the ions produced and their solution. Size of the ions produced and their solution. Hope you remember in the first year we have learned about it. If I take CS plus, RB plus, K plus, Na plus, Li plus, all these ions in aqueous solution if we consider, which has more conductivity? Anyone? Which has more conductivity or which has more conductance?
Cesium.
What, Nitin?
Cesium, sir.
Cesium. Why? Why cesium plus has ionic conductance?
It's big in size, so it will be easier for the electrons to dissociate.
Generally, if it is having larger size in the sense, hydration enthalpy will be very less. That means solvation will be very less in that case. So CS plus is surrounded by less number of water molecules. So mobility will be more in case of CS plus. So conductance for CS plus is more than RB plus, K plus greater than Na plus greater than Li plus, right? And another factor we have is nature of the solvent. That is also important. Nature of the solvent and its viscosity. For suppose solvent is more viscous. In such cases, what will happen, children? It cannot move easily. Ion mobility decreases. That's why we can say that viscosity, or else okay, you can say that I'll give you it as electrolytic conductance. Right. Electrolytic conductance or electrolytic conduction is inversely proportional to viscosity. If viscosity is more, electrolytic conductance will be less, right? Another factor for electrolytic conduction is concentration of the electrolyte.
Doubt, sir.
Concentration of electrolyte. Yes, wait, Manish. And
Sir,
next one we have temperature. As I told you, temperature increases, more will be the dissociation, more will be the number of ions produced, and more will be the electrolytic conduction. Okay? Tell me, what's your doubt?
sir, so solids cannot be electrolytic conductors, sir.
Salt can be
Example, sir.
NaCl, KCl, right? NaNO3, KNO3, all these are salts only, no?
Okay, sir.
That is what I have given. Okay, in the example, if you see here, Siraj, liquid of molten salts, aqueous solution of salts, isn't it? All salts are the examples of the electrolytic conductors only.
Sir, not salts, sir. Solids, sir.
Sorry?
It's not salts, sir. Solids.
Oh, sorry. Solids, okay, when they dissolve in water and if they form solution, they can. Okay?
Sir, so in solid state, they cannot be
Cannot.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Thanks.
Right.
Sir,
Yes.
so more the concentration of electrolyte, more conductance, sir.
Concentration, for suppose if it increases. Anish, very good question. Of course, we'll talk about the conductance, okay, of the electrolyte only in forthcoming sessions. Concentration, if it is more, that means solute concentration is more. That's why concentration of electrolyte means solute concentration is more. In that case, attractions are more. If attractions of the ions are more, mobility will be less. then conductance will be, what happened? Conductance will be
Less.
less. Yeah. That point will be discussed. Hope you understand that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now, if you observe about that, so far we have discussed electrical conductors are of two types, which are electronic, electrolytic. But in electrochemistry chapter, which conductors takes key role in the sense, electrolytic conductors takes key role. We will be talking about electrolytic conductors. Okay, but there are certain note points you have to specifically look into it. One is non-metals are there. Generally, metals are electronic conductors, as I mentioned. But non-metals which are electronically conducting. Non-metals which are electronically conducting are examples: carbon black, best example. Graphite, though it is a non-metal, of course, but it can conduct the electricity. Graphite, though it is a non-metal, it can conduct electricity, right? And even other non-metallic compounds like organic polymers. Organic compounds means carbon compounds only. Organic compounds like polymers like polyacetylene, it's also electronic conducting only. And polyaniline, polypyrrole, all these are examples of non-metal containing substances only, but they can behave as electronically conducting substances. And if I take metals and their alloys, at very low temperature, at very low temperature, if you consider it, that is around 0 to 15 Kelvin, if I take it, they were known to behave as superconductors. They were known to behave as superconductors. So at very low temperature, as I told you, temperature increases, electronic conductance decreases. But if you decrease the temperature, then what will happen? There is no objection for the flow of electrons. Electrons can move easily. That's why they can behave as superconductors at very low temperatures, around 0 to 15 Kelvin. These are the few note points you have to remember. Is it clear?
Then what about electrolytic conductors, sir? If they are very low temperature, will they decrease their conductivity?
Yeah, obviously, conductivity will be very less in that case. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, only temperature gives the dissociation of large, right? So if temperature is very low, in the sense they cannot be dissociated, right? But actually, I will ask, there is a difference. Electrolytes, there are of two types: strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. But at normal temperature, strong electrolyte can completely dissociate. Temperature effect can be observed moderately, or temperature effect can be observed very clearly in case of weak electrolyte, not in case of strong electrolyte. Right? Why? Because temperature affects the dissociation. That can be possible only in weak electrolyte, not in the strong electrolyte. Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Now, so say, if you continue, what are the different terms which are involved in the electrochemistry? If you observe that. First one, hope you are copying the notes, everyone. Yes or no? Are you writing the notes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So 1 minute goal left, sir.
Sorry?
1 minute can you goal left?
Fine. Is it fine?
Yeah, done, sir.
Anyone, can you define what is electrolysis meanwhile?
So finished.
Yeah. Meanwhile, anyone can define electrolysis.
Association of compounds using electricity.
Yeah. So electrolysis is nothing but the phenomenon of dissociation of a chemical compound. The phenomenon of dissociation of a chemical compound into its respective ions by passing electricity through it. By passing electricity through it, if you dissociate a chemical compound into its respective ions, that phenomenon is called as electrolysis, right? And in that, we have different terms. Among them, first term is non-electrolyte. Non-electrolyte means substance which do not conduct electricity. Substance which do not conduct electricity either in molten or aqueous state. Aqueous state is also called as solution state, children. But suppose if I take sugar, chemical name is sucrose. I have dissolved in water, right? I have dissolved in water. Then it becomes sugar solution. I have passed the electricity through it. It cannot be dissociated into ions. Sugar cannot be dissociated into ions. So conduction is not possible in case of sugar solution. So hence it is an example of a non-electrolyte. So similarly, you can take glucose solution. It cannot conduct the electricity through it. Glucose solution. Urea in water. If I take urea, it is also an example of non-electrolyte, right? Any organic solvent, if you take it, any organic solvent, which is an example of a non-electrolyte, which cannot conduct the electricity through it. Non-electrolyte means substance which do not conduct electricity, either in molten or aqueous state. So sugar solution, glucose solution, urea in water, organic solvents. Those are examples of non-electrolytes. Remember that a very important note point, pure water, if I take it, pure water is a poor conductor of electricity. It cannot conduct electricity. Because there are no ions for conduction. So pure water is an example of poor conductor of electricity. I have given definition of non-electrolyte. Now the very important definition we are going to talk about, it is electrolyte. If I take it, the next definition we are going to talk about is electrolyte. Non-electrolyte means substance which do not conduct electricity, right? Electrolyte means a substance which conduct electricity. A substance which conduct electricity either in molten or solution state. Molten or solution state. Children, this molten state is also called as fused state. It almost looks like semi-solid, right? Semi-solid or semi-liquid, you can say that. If any substance...
Sir?
Yes.
Can you repeat that? What is molten state called?
Molten is also called as fused state, ma. Right?
Okay, sir, thank you.
It looks like almost slurry. But suppose if you just see, like, in home also we used to make upma. Upma, for suppose if it is having more water, less upma, how does it looks like? It almost looks like slurry form, right? So that type of state is called as molten or fused state. If any substance conducts electricity either in molten or solution state, that substance is called as electrolyte. And this electrolyte, just hold on, changing it to this side. Okay. This electrolyte, if you consider it, is of two types. One is strong electrolyte, another one obviously weak electrolyte. Strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte. Strong electrolytes are those which ionize completely. Strong electrolytes are those which ionize completely and have high conductivity. Conductivity will be very high because entire substance can be dissociated into its respective ions. 100% ionization takes place. But suppose if I take weak electrolyte, these weak electrolytes which ionize partially, and have low conductivity. Conductivity will be very less in this case, right? If I take an example of strong electrolytes, best examples are mineral acids such as HCl, hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, H2SO4, right? Bases, and as well as aqueous salt solutions like NaCl, KCl, NaNO3, KNO3. All aqueous salt solutions are best examples of the strong electrolytes. They can conduct the electricity, right? But when it comes to other side, weak electrolytes, if you observe with children, organic acids, organic bases, and salts like CH3COO NH4, ammonium acetate, HgCl2, mercury chloride, BaSO4, NH4OH, ammonium hydroxide, boric acid, HCN, hydrogen cyanide. All these are examples. All these are examples of weak electrolytes only. And moreover, very important point you need to understand that BaSO4, if you observe children here, which is formed by the combination of BaOH twice and H2SO4, formed by the combination of strong acid and strong base, formed by the combination of strong acid and strong base. Though it is formed by strong acid and strong base, right, but still it is a weak electrolyte. Why? In the sense, it is because of high lattice energy. Lattice enthalpy for BaSO4 is very high. Lattice enthalpy for BaSO4 is very high. So because of it, it is very less soluble in water. It is very less soluble in water. If it is less soluble in water, then in that case concentration will be very less. So if concentration is very less, in that case what will happen? That ionic concentration will be very less. Ions, number of ions which are produced will be very less. That's why BaSO4 can behave as a weak electrolyte, though it is a neutral salt. That point to be noted clearly, children. Hope it is clear. Electrolytes are of how many types, children? Electrolytes are of how many types, children?
Two types, sir.
What are those?
Strong electrolyte and weak electrolyte.
Yeah, strong electrolyte, how do you define?
Which ionize completely and have high conductivity.
Means 100% ionization takes place, conductivity will be very high. Weak electrolyte means what do you say?
They ionize partially and have low conductivity.
Ionize partially and have low conductivity. The examples also we have given. Very good. That's great. Thank you very much for your response. And now throughout, of course, we are talking. See, as of now, the first subtopic of electrochemistry is going on. The first subtopic is electrolysis. Only if we are talking about electrolysis, right? And where we are performing electrolysis, right? That cell or vessel in which electrolysis is carried out. Electrolysis is carried out. That cell is called as electrolytic cell. That cell is called as a electrolytic cell or electrolytic vessel, right? Electrolytic cell or electrolytic vessel means in which electrolysis is carried out, right? Now, moreover, in this electrolytic cell, what will happen? Electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. So, if you take electrolytic cell in which electrical energy can be converted into chemical energy, right? Of course, we have to use a source of EMF like battery can be used. And another term is the medium through which electron enters and leaves the electrolyte. The medium through which electron enters and leaves the electrolyte is nothing but electrode. And this electrode may be of inert electrode or it may be of active electrode. It may be of inert or active electrode. Of course, we have two types of electrodes in electrolytic cell which are very familiar to us. One is cathode, another one is anode. Cathode is negatively charged electrode. Anode is positively charged electrode. Anode is a positively charged electrode, isn't it? And moreover, the negative terminal of the battery which is connected to the cathode. Negative terminal of battery is connected to cathode. And here positive terminal is connected. Positive terminal is connected. All these are the basic concepts of electrolysis you need to understand, right? So there are two types of electrodes. One is cathode and another one is anode. Children, at cathode, reduction takes place always. At cathode, reduction takes place. At anode, oxidation takes place. Hope you know the difference between oxidation and reduction. Reduction means electronation, means gaining of electrons. That's why electronation. Oxidation means loss of electrons. So that's why it is said to be de-electronation. That can be done at anode. Reduction can be done at cathode. Hope you understand the point of difference between those two. But suppose if I say Ma is the substance, it's a chemical substance, let us consider. And if you pass the electricity through the Ma, how Ma can be dissociated? M plus and A minus. It is cation, a positively charged ion, migrated towards the negatively charged electrode, that is towards cathode. So at cathode, reaction can be given as M plus by gain of one electron will be converted into M. Similarly, at anode, if you consider, A minus can be converted into A by loss of one electron. So this loss of electron is called as oxidation, which always takes place at anode. Gain of electrons is called reduction, which always takes place at the cathode. These are said to be electrode reactions, usually takes place in an electrolysis phenomenon. These are nothing but electrode reactions. Hope you understand it or not. Everyone. Anish.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Hope you have copied the notes.
1 minute, sir.
Yeah, copy it. We will have a break now from 10:15 to 10:30. Okay. Next class will be by 10:30.
Sir,
Ah,
sir, can you explain why BaSO4 is weak electrolyte, sir?
BaSO4 is weak electrolyte because of its high lattice energy. It cannot be soluble in water, though it is a salt. If it is soluble in water, then only it can be dissociated into ions. So when it is less soluble in water, ionic concentration will be very less. It is in the order of around 10 raised to -5 molar. Because of it, BaSO4 is a very weak electrolyte, though it is a neutral salt. Hope it is clear, Anish?
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes.
Hope you have copied the notes, Nitin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, we will continue in the next session. We have one more session also, yes, before lunch break. Okay, right.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right.